welcome back to another solo episode of Conversations with Cam. And you guys, it's our 300th episode, which is so insane that I've recorded 300 episodes. That is so many. And it's been, should have done the math. I didn't. I believe we started the show in 2018. And we have missed maybe a few weeks, like even through postpartum, we've kept the cadence of every week with a little bit of like pre-recording. We've maybe skipped like a week here or there, but I know ever since I joined Dear Media, so 3 years ago almost, we've done 52 episodes a year plus more. Like that is wild. And it has been so much fun, and it's still my favorite part of my job. I love it so much. And it's not, I'll bring you behind the scenes a little bit, and I know I've talked about this. It's not like my main breadwinner when it comes to the different pillars of my business, but it's my favorite one. So I am putting in all of the work I possibly can to make it the main breadwinner because it's the thing I love doing. It's the thing I feel makes the biggest difference. It's the thing I feel most connected to and allowed the space to communicate with people who I'm inspired by and get the deeper conversations and connect with our community like through people listening to the show and communicating with me over DM about their feelings and thoughts. And I do feel like it has the largest impact. So I love it. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. And we've seen many iterations of the show, just 2 show names, but many different ways of how we're doing it and the cadence and the different style guests and the different focus on topics. And it's really grown into something that I only could have dreamed of. So I feel so blessed and so grateful. And thank you for being here. And if you're new here, Conversations with Cam, we drop a new episode every Wednesday and a bonus episode with my younger sister every last Friday of the month. We talk about mental health, motherhood, the intersection of the two, and everything in between. Sometimes we cry, sometimes we have fun. It's kind of across the board, touches everything. So today, because it's our little 300th episode, I wanted to do, not little, big, because it's our big 300th episode, I wanted to do a solo episode. And given that we are approaching Mother's Day, and this month marks my 4 years of motherhood, which is wild. I can't remember a life without my kids. I mean, I can remember, but like it feels so foreign to me, a life without my children. And I also feel that 4 years is so long. Like I have a 4-year-old. How's that possible? I'm still 16. And that's crazy to me. So I want to go through some like mom hacks of sorts, mom tips and tricks, things I've learned over the years, and my parenting style, because I have a lot of friends in my close life, like outside of social media, who spend a ton of time with me as I'm parenting, and they'll look at me and be like, what made you think to do that? Or how did you know how to do that? Or where did you come up with this? And I'm like, I honestly don't know how my brain operates, but I've been taking notes on myself as a mom over the past month to prepare for this episode. So I have a list of things that we're going to go through. Before we dive into that, I want to chat about the second edition of Quiet Your Mind and Busy Your Hands. I am so excited she's here. I feel like this is my 4th child. The launch of the first edition was so incredibly well received. It made me so happy because it was a product that I created out of something I wanted, a journal, an adult coloring affirmation book. And clearly other people felt the same way because it's just done as well I could have ever dreamed of, quite honestly. And I feel like this is just the beginning. I have so many ideas for this brand and like pillar of my business. And I'm so excited to hopefully be able to like dive deeper into it and spend more time focused on it. But basically the second edition is the same style as the first edition, but it's 30 new journal prompts, 30 new images, and 30 new affirmations. So you can use it as a 30-day challenge, or you can use it however you see fit. I journal in the morning. I color at night sometimes. I don't color every single night. I do journal every single morning, and it just makes me really happy. I will highlight, if you're watching on YouTube, which I'm trying to build that YouTube presence for the show. So if you are a YouTube viewer, I hope you enjoy it. Some images that I will show on YouTube that are my favorite is My Mistakes Help Me Grow. It's this little like plant that's been knocked over and the pot is cracked, but there's like a little flower growing. And then this is really one of my favorites. Rest is productive, because Lord knows I'm trying to remember that, with these beautiful teacups and tea kettles and little like tea bags with hearts on them. Anyway, I love it. It's one of my favorite things I've ever made, like this product. I'm just so proud of it. And on the back, we did a few customer reviews. And then we also have a psychotherapist endorsement from Elizabeth Barron, who is a previous guest of the show that everyone loved, because I get so many messages from mental health professionals saying how much they love this product and how much they recommend it for their clients and how much they're using it themselves. So I really wanted to have that like on the back so that if you are picking this up in a store, because we're trying to build out that wholesale world, you will see that. Also, if you have any wholesale contacts at places that you think should sell Quiet Your Mind and Busy Your Hands, hit a girl up. Let's get into my mom hacks, tips, and tricks. Okay, so these are just like in a random assortment of things that I have instilled in my children or use in our household sporadically or every day. And they are really like across the board. I will say I wrote a piece on this recently, and I feel like I align with the 90s style of parenting. Not at all in the sense of like hide your emotions under a rug and you get what you get and you don't get upset and like I said so and that's why. I don't align with that aspect of it, but I very much align with the aspect of 90s parenting that I remember of like spending so much time outside. That whole like come home when the street lights go on. I actually didn't experience that because I didn't live in a neighborhood, but I live in a very, in my opinion, 90s style neighborhood where I feel like it's this chunk of our town that's been like taken back in time, where there are constantly kids in yards playing in the front yards, running between the streets to each other's houses. It's like this open door policy that's so wonderful between homes, and there are block parties, and it's like the Halloween parade and trick-or-treating, like the streets are blocked off. It just feels very like set back in time. And Joe and I talk about this a lot, where he grew up in like a true neighborhood. And he said that there was this big field in between all the houses that kids were playing games or sports or whatever on 24/7. And ever since we graduated college, when we would go to his parents, he's always referenced how it's so sad to see the field empty. Like no kids are ever on it because they're inside on technology or like gaming or doing God knows what. And that is where I so heavily feel like we parent in the 90s style, where our kids are outside. If it is nice out, we're outside. Like we're constantly out of the house. We are yelling between yards to send kids to other people's homes or take kids into our homes. We really allow our kids the space to like entertain themselves. Like I feel like there's this huge push nowadays that like the parent has to be everything and you have to be playing with your child 24/7 and conversing with them and like the sole provider of entertainment. And my parents were never that for me. Like I had siblings and that's what we did. Or like I entertained myself through curiosity and boredom. Like we need to allow kids to be bored again, to get curious and creative. And I feel that we allow that space for them. And also in terms of technology, like that's a huge thing for me, where I did a whole piece on like screen time, but the only technology that they have access to is the television on our wall. Like they don't have iPads. They don't have devices that they're watching things on. They're not watching things on our phones. Like I am big on the TV is the only place you are watching anything. And we use that TV a lot of times for family things. Like for instance, Friday family movie night. If we are not with our friends, we are ordering dinner in, eating dinner, heading downstairs and doing a family movie that we're picking, like a new Disney movie that we haven't watched. And it's enjoyable family bonding time. Yes, a screen is involved, but it's like a bonding experience where we're all cuddled up on the couch watching the movie together. And someone recently asked me on TikTok about, it was a question that was like, I feel like I'm not making my children's or my kids' childhoods, I guess that's right, magical enough. And it's such like boring routines. And the routines are boring, but you can make any routine magical by using a different mindset. And I so wholeheartedly believe that the magic of childhood comes from the fundamentals of the everyday and like what you're building in the relationship you're having with the child and the fun of your everyday life in your house, rather than the like big moments, the like Christmas morning full of presents or the Easter baskets. I know I'm like big on Easter baskets right now and I'm like the anti-Grinch, or the anti-Easter Grinch, but I just mean like the magic doesn't have to be expensive. It's the everyday little things. So for instance, two that I said are, we're constantly having dance parties. Sonos was the best thing we installed in our house. Obviously you don't need it, but like I love having it on like the loudspeakers in our kitchen and our family room. We are dancing our way through breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Dancing our way, like full blown performing. You better believe we are like putting on talent shows for no one, except we did put on a talent show for my parents recently in Florida. Even like bedtime with our older son, we've done this thing called rocket ship. I have no idea how it started, but if Joe and I are both putting him down, and usually it's when he requests it and he's like, I want to do rocket ship tonight. Joe grabs under his armpits, I have his ankles, and we do a full 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 swinging, blast off and throw him into bed before we tuck him in. Like it's those little things that I believe create the magic. Or when we have ice cream basically every night, it's ice cream on the floor in front of the freezer. I don't know when this started. I'm sure one night I just like grabbed a pint of ice cream and sat down because I'm someone who I never realized I do this until I started talking about it with my acupuncturist. Like I ground myself by constantly sitting on the ground, like physically grounding myself. And I think I just plopped down and started eating ice cream. And then my son was like, can I have some? And it became our thing. And now our other son's involved in it. And Joe also. So like we sit in a circle and we pass the pint around and we have bites. And I don't know. It's like those little things that I hope he remembers when he's older of like, oh, those were such fond memories. Now, these are just some random things I do as a parent that I find successful. I don't know. I don't know if they're tips, tricks. I have no idea. In terms of toddler emotions, those things are big. My God, big. And here are some things or sayings or verbiage I use around them. The biggest one is that all emotions are welcome, but not all actions are. I say this to our older son all the time. You are allowed to feel sad. You are allowed to feel frustrated. You are allowed to feel angry, but you can't do everything you might want to do with those emotions. I think that so much of our generation was told like, well, don't be sad or you can't be angry. Like, you know, shake it off or like hide those feelings. And I don't think it allowed us time to process them or space to process them. So I tell him all the time, all of your emotions are welcome, but not all of your actions are. You can be so mad at me, but you cannot hit me. That's not acceptable. Okay. So explaining to him the difference between the emotions and then the difference between the actions. And then also providing him with tools for said emotions like anger, frustration, sadness, whatever it might be. So for instance, with anger, when he was like acting out when he was angry, I would say, you're allowed to be angry. Here's what we do when we're angry. Here are 3 things, okay? You can either say, I want space and time to myself, which he does quite often, and go into another room. You can go up to your room. Like, that's up to you. If you want time to yourself, you can have it. You can yell into the couch or your arm. So you can scream as loud as you want into your arm or go to the couch and put your head on the couch and yell as loud as you want. Let the frustration out. Let the anger out. Or you can say, Mommy, I'm really angry. Can I have a hug? Okay. And if you think of other tools, great, let's add them in. But those are your 3 main options for when you're angry. And so now when he gets really angry, I'm like, okay, what are the 3 things you can do? And we honestly have built that in where like it has stuck with him. Our youngest, like not there yet. But he's almost 4 and like he does do those. Like when he gets really angry, he will walk up to a couch, put his head in a pillow and scream. And I'm like, that is a great way to handle your anger. And I will say that to him because we can't teach these kids that they're not allowed to be angry. Like I get angry all the time. We have to figure out how to move that emotion. The other thing is that words have power. This is like harder, I think, to conceptualize, but trying to explain to him that when he says things like, I don't like you, or like, get away from me, or you're disgusting, that's like his new favorite word, that those words have power, okay? That hurts. That makes me sad, or that makes someone else sad. And when you say things like that, that can really impact people. And like we have to be aware of what we're saying. Another thing is, let's try that again. I catch myself saying that all the time. And I am someone who is definitely trying to instill manners in their kids. I feel like we're kind of in this phase where people are like, I don't care about my kid. I care. I want my child to be saying please and thank you. I want them to be polite. I want them to be talking to wait staff if we're at a restaurant. Like, no, I care. I deeply care. And not from like the way that it looks on me as a parent, but because other people deserve our respect. And also like I'm raising rich white boys. Like I don't want them just being entitled. And so I'll say like, let's try that again. When he's like, I need milk. Well, let's try that again. And I'll look at him and I will simply say, I'm sorry, what was that? Try that again. And he'll be like, may I please have milk? And because I've said it so many times, he understands what I mean of like, try that again, use the correct terminology. Like, please be more polite and like use please and thank you. You don't need anything. May I please have? And even with like at restaurants, for instance, like I let him order for himself. Obviously, I tell the server like exactly what he wants if he doesn't say it like to the exact thing. But if he says like chicken fingers, I'll be like, honey, can we try that again? And he's like, may I please have chicken fingers? So the let's try that again has really come in clutch, not even for manners, but like the whining. The whining is like the bane of my existence. It's really what gets under my skin and I despise it. So if he's asking for something in a whine or he's like, hold me, let's try that again. Can you please hold me? Sure, I would love to. Well, I would love for you to walk more, but I will always hold you. Then in terms of like simple affirmations, I mean, we're doing those all the time and stay tuned. There's more on that to come. That's something we're building. But I wholeheartedly believe in positive affirmations for myself and therefore for my children. So we spend many of mornings starting with our affirmations. One that I love that his school taught him is breathe in, breathe out. I'm not going to scream and shout. And so when he gets really frustrated also, we'll say that like, okay, breathe in, breathe out. I'm not going to scream and shout. Honestly, we could all use that. And in terms of affirmations and like that practice, we also do gratitude every night. We've done gratitude every night, Joe and I, for I don't know, 5-7 years now. And so we've implemented that with the kids. Again, our youngest can't speak in sentences like that, but we include him where we each go around and say one thing we think he's grateful for. And this is like post-bath when they're all like, when we're all cuddled up in our older son's bed before we put our youngest down. And then we each go around and say 3 things we're grateful for. And I've gotten a lot of messages asking about like how you implement this, when you started this. I feel like we started it when he was like 2. And some nights he's like, I'm grateful for my wallpaper and my camera, like his monitor. Like he's just looking and seeing things. Or like my poopy butt. Like oftentimes we get that one. But then sometimes he'll surprise us and be like, I'm grateful for an exact moment that day where he spent time with the 2 of us. Or recently a big one has been, I'm grateful for this world and everything in it. And I'm like, where does that come from? Like where, what? And I just feel like that also sparks conversation of what we did that day and reminiscing on it. But I truly believe that gratitude is a practice. And the more you focus on the things that you're grateful for, the more aware you are of all the incredible things you have. And it like compounds on itself in a positive way. So that's just something I wanted to implement from when they were very young. In terms of kids demanding and feeling like they're entitled to everything, which I just feel children feel that way, we will oftentimes play the song, You Can't Always Get What You Want. And originally I would play it on my phone and then I started just singing it because he would understand it. So if he like really wants something that's just like, I bring out 2 bowls for breakfast for the boys and I give our younger son the green one and he gets the blue one, and our younger son has already started eating and he's like, I want the green bowl. I'm like, buddy, yeah, I can't. And I start singing it. And lately when I say like, bud, and I look at him, he starts to sing it. It's like he's registering that he cannot always like get what he doesn't need the green bowl. It doesn't matter, okay? Like that is not going to make or break the morning, the breakfast, the day. That is not what's important. And I don't know, that song has like really come in handy for us. Another thing is teaching him like a game of sorts that allows like to be the deciding factor, because I don't love the like, because I said so style of parenting. Like I know I'm in charge, and I remind him of that often of like, okay, well, mommy and daddy make the rules. So like we can converse about things, but like we make the ultimate decision. But doing rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Well, it's up to rock, paper, scissors, shoot. So like, for instance, when we get in the car in the mornings and he's like demanding his stories and he really wants to listen to a story, but I'm just like tapped out on stories and I want to listen to my music. Okay, let's rock, paper, scissors, shit. Okay, let's rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and we decide. And that's how it's going to be decided, and teaching him that he's not always going to win. Like even when we're racing, sure, I let him win sometimes, but like sometimes I win. because like kids need to be okay with losing. I just feel like that's part of life. You can't always expect you're going to win. And I don't want to raise a sore loser or someone that like gives up because they lost. So if I lose rock, paper, scissors, shoot, I'm like, dang, that stinks. Okay, maybe I win next time. Let's put on your story and try to like build that as an example. He less so reacts that way because he really wants those stories. But oftentimes I get a song and then he gets his story. Another random thing that this is just like has nothing to do with a child's emotions or actions or anything, but creating something fun around something they dislike. And I don't know if that's like, it's not Pavlovian response. That's not the correct terminology, but creating some type of positive memory to tie into, or positive experience to tie into something that they do not enjoy. So like the best thing I can think of is with our younger son, actually. He is in the phase where he hates getting his diaper changed. It is like I am wrangling a wild alligator on that table. He is so strong and throws his body and contorts himself in ways that I don't even understand how it's possible. Like when I look at him, he's so tiny in comparison to me. How does he control me and my actions when he's on this changing table? And why is it possible to keep him down? There are points where I have him literally in like a freaking lock with my arm trying to change his diaper with one hand. So what I've done, because specifically with poop diapers, he's like trying to rip the diaper off. He's trying to turn himself. He's trying to fling shit everywhere. And I noticed that he was really enjoying peekaboo when we were playing on our older son's bed with like his blankets, like throwing that on him and then him pulling it off. And I'm yelling like, where is he? Where is he? I can't find him. And then he pulls it off and he's like, yeah. Okay. So we started doing peekaboo poops. So when it's time to change his poop diaper, and this is where my brain goes. This is what I mean. It's all in the marketing. When I notice he's pooped, I go, buddy, do you have a poop? And he goes, poop, poop, off, 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 and tries to like pull off his diaper. So I go, it's peekaboo poop time. And I throw him on the diaper changing table. And I throw a burp cloth over his face. And we start doing peekaboo, and then I start changing the diaper quickly. And with one hand, I'm like throwing the burp cloth back on his face, or like his pants. Honestly, I've done it with. I will do it with anything. And he's so into the peekaboo aspect of things and wrapped up in that he forgets that I'm doing the thing he hates the most and changing a poop diaper. And somehow it has worked. So I've started to realize that like connecting those things with things they don't enjoy is an enjoyable experience then for them. And again, that's why I think it's all in the marketing, like brushing your teeth. Our younger kid like really didn't enjoy it in the beginning. And so you better believe I rely heavily on that Miss Rachel song, you brush your teeth, and suddenly he enjoys it. And now when it's time to brush his teeth, I'm like, okay, we got to brush your teeth. And he goes, although I don't understand that song because it's like you wake up in the morning, it's 1:45. You just can't wait to have some fun. Why are you waking up in the morning at 1:45? And then it's like 2:45, 3:45. What? No, kids, do not do that. I'm not brushing your teeth at 1 a.m. Also, with marketing, I do this thing with Canva Illustrator where lately our oldest child has decided he does not want to eat anything I put on the dinner table. Like, I could put his favorite meal in front of him and that looks disgusting. I don't want that. And I'm like, what happened to my child that ate everything under the sun and his favorite meal was like chicken tikka masala? And it's interesting because I could give him something that I know he loves and he will not want it. But then I'll give him something else the next night and he won't want it. And if I give him that option from the night prior, because it's the second option, he suddenly wants it. So it's all about control. But I have a kid who is obsessed with characters. Like he is a method actor. He goes deep into character mode. He only wants to be called by the character names. Like it's the mental math that goes on in our household where we have to assess what movie we're currently living in, because depending on the movie, we all have different names that we all have to go by, whether it's Monsters Inc., whether it's now SpongeBob, whether it's Lion King, whether it's Lion Guard, whether it's Cars, whether it's Toy Story. Like, we all have different assigned characters. Finding Nemo. And if he decides that he's Simba, then I have to be Queen Sarabi. Or if he decides he's Sully, then I'm Schmooksy Poo. So, like, I have to remember what I'm referencing myself as, what I'm referencing Joe as, what I'm referencing our other child as, and what I'm referencing him as. But because he is so deep in this character, I have used it to my advantage, where when he decides he is whoever he is in that moment, Maui, and I'm Moana, obviously, then say he doesn't want to eat his chicken quesadilla I made him for dinner that he loves, typically, I'm like, well, this is Maui's favorite food. And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, Maui loves chicken quesadillas. And he's like, show me, prove it. And this is how it started. So I took my little influencing skills and I went on Canva and I pulled a picture of Maui from the internet on my phone, screenshotted, pulled a picture of chicken quesadilla, screenshotted, went into Canva, put them all together, had Maui holding a chicken quesadilla. And I'm like, look at this. And suddenly he's eating the chicken quesadilla. And many of people have said, well, use AI for this. I've tried, because AI will not give me the actual Disney character. And if you have a kid like mine, nothing but the actual Maui is going to cut it. He's going to say, well, why does Maui look like that? Why does Maui have those tattoos? Why does Maui look weird in this picture? So I need Maui, not like an AI image of Maui. Okay, I need Maui. So if you have a way to like get AI to do that with actual Maui, please let me know, because I haven't figured it out yet. But shockingly, this trick has worked. It has worked with his favorite foods of chicken quesadilla that he decided he doesn't want that day, or foods that like consistency-wise he's not always into, like mashed potatoes. So I have an album of character eating foods between Maui, between Sully, between Ninja Turtles. Like, the limit does not exist. Another thing around food that has nothing to do with food, and more so around the emotional regulation, is I started one time saying, ain't no thing but chicken wing, when he got upset about something. I don't know why. I don't know where I like referenced that saying from. Haven't said it in who knows how long. And for some reason, I also decided to shake my hand like this with my thumb and my pinky out. And it kind of became this like signal of like, it's not a big deal. Let's not make it a big deal. Okay? It's not a big deal. Let's not make it one, which I often say as well to myself and to my children. So say I pull out a water bottle and it's not the one he wanted, but the one he wants is in the washer, the dishwasher. I'll just be like, dude, ain't nothing about chicken wing. And he has started saying it. So he has started to catch himself when he like gets angry around something or frustrated, and he just goes, ain't nothing about chicken wing. And now it's gotten to the point where I can just turn to him and do the hand motion, like more so if we're in public and I'm not trying to say ain't nothing about chicken wing in front of everyone. And it like resets his brain in a way where, again, I have no idea where I pull these things from. I have no idea where I'm learning them. I have no idea if they're going to work. But parenting is throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. And if it sticks, I am running with it, and it's becoming something I'm doing every single day. Because parenting toddlers is wild. Wild. And we're all just learning as we go and seeing what works and making things up, because it is all in the marketing. Another thing that I believe is the biggest tip I could give a new parent, and I will scream it from the rooftop: pick a nighttime song. When your child is born, I mean from the day they enter this world. Pick a song that you will play or sing them when you are trying to get them to sleep. So for my oldest son, it's Carole King, Where You Lead, because Gilmore Girls was like my maternity leave show with him. And then for my younger son, it's Stevie Wonder, I Just Called to Say I Love You. And since the moment they entered the world, I would sing it to them when I was breastfeeding or when I was trying to get them to sleep, anytime that they were like calm in my arms and like soothed. And it then becomes this Pavlovian response of hearing that song, feeling calm. And my kids are both thumbsuckers. So I could play that song. We still do it with our younger son, and I'm still singing it to them often. But we can do it with our younger son, specifically if we're in the car. If he is like, we're trying to get him to go to bed, or he's asleep and he wakes up and he's crying, if we put on that song, silence. Silence. That thumb is in the mouth. The eyes are closed. He is calm. It is truly the wildest thing. You put that on and it's like a blanket of calm warmth goes over his body. And it's because we have literally trained that to equate to being soothed. And it's the greatest tip I can give anyone. So truly you can start now, but start as early as you can and maintain it. It was an every night thing. I was either singing or playing it to them every single night for the first 6+ months of their lives, longer even. And now even when our youngest cries specifically in the car, our oldest will say play it, put on a song, or he'll try to sing it to him. One time he tried to sing it to him and I was like, buddy, you have to be quiet. He's trying to go to bed. He's like, no, I'm singing him a song. And that just melted my heart. That is my number one tip. Another thing that I do, that this is so random, but I love doing it and I just feel like other people would too, is once your kid hits a certain age, I try to interview them every 6-ish months. So once your kid is able to speak and kind of have a conversation, if I catch that he's in a really good mood or he's being silly and talkative and able to do this, I'll be like, buddy, can I interview you? And I sit him on the couch and I'm just like, can you please tell me your name? And he'll say his name. And I'm like, what's your age? And where are we right now? And it's this home video style that I love to have in a folder to go back and look at. And I'll ask what's your favorite toy to play with right now? What's your favorite movie? Who do you spend time with? Who do you like to play with? Where do you go to school? What class are you in? I don't know. I feel very nostalgic for the present and I have a lot of fears around forgetting things because my memory isn't great and I just get so nervous about forgetting these moments of their childhood. And so I love having these videos to look back on because not only is it of the kids and I'm getting that fix of them, but it's also a reminder of that specific frame and time period of life of what they're into and what they're doing and what they're loving. So that's something I try to do every probably 6 months. I would love to do it more and keep in a folder. And then one day maybe I'll make a long video of them. I don't know. Those are all of my tips and tricks and things when it comes to motherhood. I feel like I go between loving that I get to talk so much about motherhood for work because I feel so passionately about it. It's very top of mind for me, obviously. It's how I relate to so many of you through my feelings and emotions and lived experiences and being I don't want this to be my whole identity. But I do feel like I found this great balance of having an identity outside of motherhood, which I think if you can and if it's something you crave is so important to get you to a place of loving motherhood because I don't believe it's supposed to be our everything. It should be, or I won't say it should be. For me, it is my most important thing, but it's not my everything. And having a version of myself that lives alongside it and outside of it has allowed me the space to fill my cup in ways that doesn't surround around my children, that then allows me to enjoy my time with them the most. And I feel so incredibly blessed to have these 2 children and for the fact that I get to be their mother and that I have grown into a version of myself that I feel very proud of and that I always hoped I would and that I feel so confident in. And all that being said, it's the hardest job I've ever had in my entire life and probably ever will. And it's exhausting and it's tiring and it's all consuming and I love it. And that's what's so confusing because you will be so goddamn tired and exhausted and convince yourself that you just can't do it. And then you continue to show up every single day with the most love in your heart that you can. And it has truly shown me what resilience is because there are days where I'm like, I can't. I simply can't. And then I do. And I do it with my whole heart. And that is what makes me truly the most proud of myself when I look back on the day. I'm like, I thought I couldn't do it, and I did. And I got through the day, and tomorrow's going to be a new day, and buckle up, let's go. So if my kids ever listen to this specific episode, which I doubt they will, I love you, and thank you for allowing me to be your mom. And happy Mother's Day to any mom listening to this. You are amazing. You're all amazing, whether you're a mom or not. But I hope that on Mother's Day, you get to spend it doing what you want to do, whether that's brunch with your kids or laying in bed and not seeing them at all that day. This day is for you and your desires and getting your needs met. So thank you for listening. I hope any of these hacks, tips, tricks, whatever we want to call them, were helpful. I don't know what the label is for my style of parenting, if there is one. If you've read a book and you've seen this and you have a label, let me know, because I don't read any children's parenting books, so I don't know. But whatever it is, I feel like it works for us. And it's what has allowed me to feel very proud of myself as a mom. And honestly, it's all just trusting my gut. Because none of us know what the fuck we're doing. But if I trust my gut, then at least I feel aligned with myself as I parent, rather than feeling like I'm trying to live up to someone else's expectations. So come back for another episode of Conversations with Cam every Wednesday. Rate, review, subscribe, share the episode with your friend. That is honestly the most beneficial way of growing the show, and it means the world to me. And get your hands on the second edition of Quiet Your Mind and Busy Your Hands at quiet-your-mind.com, our new website. It'll be linked in the show notes. And follow us on social, both for the podcast, Conversations with Cam on IG and Conversations_with_Cam on TikTok. We're really trying to grow out that presence, and it's been so much fun building more content for those pages. And then we also started a page for Quiet Your Mind on Instagram. So that's quietyourmind__. I think there are 2 underscores. It'll be linked in the show notes. And have a great day, everyone.